Happy Halloween, everybody. Today is Halloween. I am so excited. We are doing this fun little bats by the full moon. This is a really easy one. You do not need any drawing skills whatsoever. And so just to start, I have this round palette that I made the first large circle with, and then I use the bottle, the watercolor bottle, to make this the moon inside of that. If you don't have these items, you can just grab something that is round, maybe like a side plate, and then, a bottle in your medicine cabinet for the moon. You do not need to buy templates and all this stuff. I always just try to find what's around me. And then we're going to go into wet on wet for the background. The background is super cool. I love the way it came out. It was one that I was kind of like, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this, and came out better than I expected. So just make sure you apply a liberal amount of water around there, of course, avoiding the moon. We want to leave that white. And then I'm putting the purple around the moon, just like a nice bright purple, and I just think the effect of it just blooming into the water is just really fun and really cool. When I taught this class, I did it twice, and it was just fun seeing how people reacted, like, ooh, this is really fun. So which I'm not sure if you can really get that with a pan effect, but with the liquids definitely can do that. So then I added a little bit of blue and a little bit of Payne's gray in around the purple. I'm just, as you can see, literally just striping it on there. There is no rhyme or reason to the way I am doing that. I just wanted to give it a kind of a cool foggy cloud look. And I was letting the water kind of do the trick with the clouds. So I knew the water was going to do all of the work. I will put the colors down below of what you need in the description. If you don't have liquid watercolors, you can certainly try doing this with the colors that you have around you. So then after the purple, the blue, the Payne's gray, I added what's called that, I think it's called True Red. I will, of course, double check and make sure the right colors are in the description. It's like an orangey red color. And then I put this Indian red, I know this one's Indian red, around the very edge of the circle. And as you can see, it kind of has this really cool, like I don't know, just like this red sky going into the cool, creepy, foggy look. I did not blend too much. I just put enough paint to cover, and then did a little bit of just kind of smearing the brush through just to give that cloud look. But I really just let the water do most of the work, and definitely do not over blend or mix this, because you will lose that effect. Then I let that completely dry, and I added the bats, and I will, of course, include the template. You can also just print out the screenshot of the painting, and then I use carbon paper to trace the bats on there if you don't want to freehand it. You just kind of want to make sure that the bats look like they're coming out of that circle instead of just haphazardly all the way around. So it kind of just gives a cool effect of the bats just coming out of this circle. I don't know what the circle is. Maybe people, I have no idea. I just thought it was a fun effect. Maybe you guys can help me with what this is. Is this just the sky and the bats are coming out of the sky? I don't know. I have no idea. I just thought it was fun. And then we are going to just paint the bats black. It is wet on dry. So I just took carbon black from Dr. P.H. Martin and just filled the bats in. And I think you could see me eating a pretzel at one point in that when I had the paper down. I apologize. I was hungry. Girls got to eat. So I'm using one of my favorite brushes, which is the silver brush. It's one of those. You do not need anything fancy with this painting. It is a really user-friendly, just, black paint. I even had some people who were just not comfortable with the brush, so I gave them the Micron pen in black, and they drew it in. It was fine. It turned out beautiful. It works. The whole idea is just to have a painting that you love. And if you've followed any of my other videos, then you know that I am a big supporter of your painting making you happy and the results making you happy. however you need to do that. Of course, within reason, we don't want to just go steal people's work, things like that. But when it comes to being creative, I am not a purist. I don't think that you should have to use a watercolor if it's not going to get the results that you want. So if you want to do the micron pen, if you want to do a Sharpie, whatever gets you your bats. And then and then one of the questions I got was, is it okay if the bats are over the moon? Yeah, of course. The bats fly in front of the moon. I actually thought it looked kind of cool to do that. As you can see, my moon is not completely round here. I will fix that with bleed proof white here in a minute. And, the moon's not perfectly round anyway, but in paintings we tend to like them looking round. It just looks better, I guess, even though the moon isn't technically round. Although I think when you look up at the sky, it looks round in the sky, doesn't it? I mean, when it's a full moon. I think it does. I know it's like a little bit egg-shaped because the gravity is pulling the moon in a little bit, or is it pulling away? I have no idea. My son would know this. He is the astronomy geek. So, but anyways, I digress. The moon in my painting is not currently round. I will fix that with bleed proof white. If you don't want a round moon, don't do a round moon. I had somebody who went a little too dark, so I'm going to put a face on the moon here in a second, but when they painted this, their face was a little bit too dark, and it had unfortunately dried before I had seen it, and she was like, I don't like the way this looks. So we turned it into an eclipse, which was really cool. It turned out really cool. It actually was one of my favorite paintings. So she just made a dark, basically a smaller circle that was pretty much solid black. So you had this white glow around it, and then she took bleed proof white and kind of added streaks around it to make it look like an eclipse, a full eclipse. It looked really cool. So the bats in front of the full eclipse just had a whole other level. Maybe do a second painting and give it a try. So anyways, obviously this part's a little tedious. It took a while. People were getting a little tired of it. They're like, wow, that's a lot of bats. But and start from what I told them. Make sure you don't paint any of your bats on an area that's wet because it will bleed. Does that mean that they listened to me? No, they still did. So we had to kind of improvise and put other bats in there where it had bled, or make a bat a little bit bigger. They were happy accidents. It does help to let it dry. Fortunately, this is a class where you're at home, at the comfort of your home. You can go make a coffee, have a break. That's what I did. I went and had lunch and let it dry completely. In my class, it was a little bit harder to do. So we were speeding up the process with blow dryers and stuff just to try to get it done within a certain amount of time, which is, one of the negative restraints of a live class, but, kind of weighs out with the positive benefits of being in a live class, right? So anyways, it is Halloween. I'm looking at my window. It is October 31st where I'm at. It is October 31st when this gets posted. I am literally doing this recording while it is Halloween. So just really want to get into the mood here. We had our trick-or-treating already. So here in New Hampshire, we do trick-or-treating. Well, I don't know if it's all of New Hampshire. I know the Seacoast area. We do trick-or-treating on the 30th, which is Beggar's Night. So that's when they do the trick-or-treating. However, we had a storm last night. We knew the storm was coming in, and our city, Portsmouth, moved up trick-or-treating one day to Wednesday. So we did trick-or-treating 2 nights ago, which feels really weird because this is my 3rd Halloween here in New England, so I'm not quite used to having trick-or-treating the night before. So in my brain, when I woke up this morning, Halloween was over, and I was like, oh, it's Halloween. So we kind of got like a little second dose of Halloween today, which was very exciting. So tonight, there is a Halloween parade that is put on by the local townspeople, and it was just really fun. They go through downtown Portsmouth. If you've never been to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, if you don't know what it looks like, just Google Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It just looks like it's right out of a Hallmark movie. It is so cute, and people get super creative with their costumes. So we will be going to the parade tonight. It is currently, I think it's like in the low 50s. It is kind of windy. There are storm clouds. It just feels like Halloween. I love it. Last night was windy and stormy and rainy, and I made some homemade spaghetti and meatballs with the homemade sauce and homemade garlic bread, and it's been such a relaxing, a wonderful week because I aside from a class Tuesday night and of course working in the studio during the day, I've had almost every evening off except for Tuesday night, and it's just been, and I did it on purpose because of Halloween. Because I just wanted to enjoy it because I work a lot this time of year, and it's just been so wonderful. Tuesday night I did do a sip and paint because it was National Chocolate Day, so of course we had to do a chocolate themed sip and paint. I am a chocolate girly, and so we all painted a Hershey's Kiss. I posted it on my Facebook and my Instagram. I think I might have also posted on YouTube, but you have to check it out. People did such an amazing job, and I got some requests to do a video of a kiss. So a Hershey's Kiss. I will try to make that happen. I have a lot of plans for videos coming up in the next few months, so it may not happen until the spring. But I will try to make that happen. I cannot promise 100% because that means I have to repaint the Hershey's Kiss, and I did it once, so I don't know if I really want to do it again. Um, Maybe we could do something a little bit different. So let me know. Do you want me to paint a Hershey's Kiss and do a tutorial of that? Or do you want me to do a different chocolate video? So let me know. Thank goodness for speeding up the video and filming because we got to get right through those bats. But okay, so now I'm doing the moon. I'm really just doing kind of the dirty water from the bats. So it's just like a really, really watered down gray, just to kind of do a rough look of the moon. If you wanted to try to do a more accurate face, and of course you are more than welcome to do that. But I just wanted something that looked like the moon. And then, like I said, I'm now cleaning up the edges with the bleed proof white so it's not so dome shaped, and just putting some white around there. And then I am going to finish this up by putting a couple of like white, watered down bleed proof white streaks around the moon to just give it that kind of moon glow because it is a full moon, just to finish it up. So if I'm using, like I said, the bleed proof white. I have it over there on my palette, and that's pretty much it. It's an easy one. It's all about this really cool sky. So let me know what you think, and if you want me to do a different chocolate video, post it in the comments. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video.